I told you to stop lying about me, Karen, and this time the whole street heard me. The words left my mouth sharp, clear, and controlled, not screaming, not losing control, just loud enough to slice through the fake smile glued to her face. Karen blinked. Neighbors froze mid-step. Lawnmowers stopped, even her little clipboard hand trembled. She never expected me to raise my voice. She built her power on people shrinking. Not today. She laughed, that fake HOA president laugh. You're violating community harmony. I stepped closer. No, you're abusing authority, and I'm done being polite about it. Phones were already coming out. If you love powerful stories, you don't want to miss this. But before we continue, tell us where you are watching from. It makes us happy to see how far our stories travel. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Karen adjusted her blazer, pretending confidence. You owe $12,000 in cumulative violations. Gasps. I smiled. Good, I said, because that means you falsified at least 8 reports. Her face drained. See, Karen didn't know 2 things. 1, I record every HOA interaction. 2, the city auditor is my college roommate. And she'd been waiting for proof. Karen tried to pivot. You people always. Finish that sentence, I said, voice rising again, steady and dangerous. She didn't. Instead, she slammed another violation notice onto my door. What she didn't realize? That paper trail would become the rope she tied herself with, and I hadn't even shown my best evidence yet. Karen recovered faster than I expected. By sunset, she had already emailed the entire neighborhood calling me aggressive, unstable, and a threat to community safety. I read it twice. Then I laughed, loud enough that my sister asked if I was okay. Oh, I'm better than okay, I said. She just made her first fatal mistake. The next morning, Karen showed up with 2 board members and a private security guard. Pure theater. Final notice, she said, loud enough for cameras. Pay or we begin foreclosure proceedings. That word made the crowd murmur. I stepped forward, and this time I raised my voice fully. You forged signatures, Karen. You altered timestamps, and you charged families for violations that never existed. The street went silent. Karen smirked. Prove it. I pulled out my tablet. Not videos. Bank transfers. HOA funds. Routed into a landscaping company. Her brother's landscaping company. Gasps hit like dominoes. Karen's smile cracked. That's taken out of context. I took one step closer, voice sharper. Then explain why the city just froze every HOA account 30 minutes ago. One board member actually staggered back. Another whispered, Karen, what did you do? She snapped at them. Stay quiet. Wrong move. Because Mrs. Alvarez, who Karen fined $4,000 last year, stepped forward holding printed emails. You told me to stay quiet too, she said. Then more neighbors stepped forward. Receipts, letters, screenshots. Karen's empire wasn't cracking, it was collapsing. But the twist? I wasn't the one who reported her. Her own assistant did. And tonight, the police were coming to ask why HOA money paid for Karen's new lake house deposit. Karen tried one last performance. Right there in the street, she laughed. Loud, dramatic, fake confident. This is harassment. I'm calling my lawyer. I raised my voice again, sharp and cutting. Do it. Put it on speaker. The crowd leaned in. Her hands shook as she dialed. Hi, David, she said, forcing calm. I have a situation with a resident making false financial accusations. Pause. Her face changed. What do you mean you can't represent me? Another pause. Then louder. Conflict of interest? Since when? I stepped closer. Since he started representing the families you fined illegally. The neighborhood erupted. Karen's voice cracked. You planned this. No, I said. You just underestimated everyone. Right then, 2 city vehicles rolled into the street. Behind them, police. Not rushing. Not dramatic. Just inevitable. One officer stepped forward. Karen Mitchell? She nodded slowly. We need to ask you questions regarding financial fraud, coercion, and falsified housing enforcement records. Her knees didn't buckle, but her voice did. This is political. This is targeted. I raised my voice one last time, not yelling, but powerful enough that every phone recording caught it. You targeted families, seniors, single parents, anyone you thought wouldn't fight back. Silence wrapped the street. As officers walked her toward the car, Karen looked at me. Not angry anymore. Terrified, because for the first time she understood something. Power borrowed from fear disappears when people stop being afraid. And tonight, no one was afraid of her anymore. Please like, comment, and subscribe. 3 weeks later, the neighborhood felt different, quieter, lighter, like tension had finally exhaled. Karen's trial date was set. News stations picked it up fast. HOA president accused of large-scale financial exploitation. But the real humiliation came from details. Every forged violation, every elderly resident she bullied, every family she threatened with foreclosure, all displayed in court records. I attended opening day, not front row, not dramatic, just present. Karen walked in wearing a designer suit that couldn't hide how small she looked now. No clipboard, no security guard, no fake smile. When the prosecutor displayed the money trail, the courtroom screens lit up with numbers, emails, and recorded calls, including the one where she laughed about scaring people into paying. Gasps echoed. Karen turned once, scanning the room, and her eyes landed on me. I didn't smile. I didn't wave. I just held eye contact, the same calm dominance she used to mistake for weakness. By week 2, 3 board members testified against her. Her assistant took a deal. The landscaping company records sealed everything. Guilty on multiple counts, but the moment that spread everywhere wasn't the verdict. It was after. As deputies escorted her out, a reporter asked, "Do you regret how you treated residents?" Karen opened her mouth. Nothing came out because excuses don't work when proof is louder than power. Months later, the HOA was rebuilt. Transparent, monitored, fair. And me? I never celebrated loudly. I just lived peacefully. Because real revenge isn't chaos, it's truth, standing still while lies collapse around it. Please like, comment, and subscribe.